Hey, what is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another Coti video. Now, what we were looking at for Coti was a great move yesterday. I'm very excited about what we saw, and the reason being is because we finally invalidated that real big and real scary head and shoulders that we were possibly looking at, okay? Now, the reason we were so nervous about this was, of course, we set our left shoulder, we set our head, and coming up on this right shoulder right here, we knew that this was 786 top side resistance. And what we didn't want to see was us run into resistance, start to roll over, come back down to the shoulder line, and boom, a breakout to the downside. Now, many of you were aware that if that was going to happen, we were likely looking at a fall, a pretty big technical target fall all the way back down to around 30 cents to the bottom here, okay? We didn't want to see that happen. Of course, no one wants to see that happen. So what we saw happen, of course, was two beautiful inverse head and shoulders play out. What we saw was this one, first and foremost, boom, 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 inverse head and shoulders number one. Of course, our technical target from our shoulder line, which is here, down to our head, put the price needing to go up right around to this key level around 61 to 62 cents. We saw that clearing, which was absolutely amazing. We hit our technical target, and then we continued back upwards. Now, coming off of that big move right there, we can see, though, that the price, if we go draw a Fibonacci from this high down to this low, was unable to get the closes that we needed to on the 4-hour charts. Let's go to the 4s real quick. On the 4-hour charts to maintain that. We couldn't get those 4-hour closes above this 786 level at 62 cents, and from there we started to see the price roll back over. Well, after we saw the price roll back over, what happened was that it came back down to our key level of support. Now, the reason this is a key level of support, of course, was because it was our previous inverse head and shoulders shoulder line. We set that shoulder line here, and that is resistance. Once we clear that resistance, we want to flip it as support. Now, look what happened, though, is that we come down and set another inverse head and shoulders. So after setting this previous resistance as support, we use that support to build another inverse head and shoulders. Now, our technical target off of this inverse head and shoulders from yesterday was going to be right here, if we do place that, right at almost exactly, let's move it up a little bit to where it's perfect, there we go, right at exactly where the price went up to. We came back up, we hit the 67 to 68 cent mark, exactly where the breakout target was going to be. I actually missed this one, so congratulations to those of you who did not. Now, what we're looking at right now, again, is the coming back down to establish some support off of this big move, just as we did here, coming back down to establish support. We're looking at a similar move. So the first thing we need to pay attention to is this key level, our previous level of resistance, currently sitting at about 61.44. If we're able to hold support here, who knows, maybe we look at another inverse head and shoulders with our shoulder line here with the great breakout to the upside. Of course, I will update you guys if that does start to form. But right now, look to see this 61.40 does hold as support for this possible continuation to the upside, okay? Now, we also need to pay attention in terms of if we're buying, when we're buying, when we're not buying. We need to watch for that there's two 4-hour closes above the 786 off of our all-time high down to this previous low. As you all know, I'm looking for two green candles above the 6297, above 63 cents. When we see two green candles above 63 cents, that is going to be the first step for me to say, okay, I think now is the buy. We didn't get it the first time we went above the 786, and we're struggling at the moment to get it here. So once we get those two big green candles here, and we start to see that upward push, the increase in volume, then that's a good sign to look for that uptrend to continue. So in terms of buying for a long term, another big parabolic move to the upside, I'm not there just yet. I'm still kind of waiting again because we did take some profits off that short term trade, still back around here. Okay. So again, what I'm looking for first and foremost is I want to see the price hold above let's go 6140. That's going to be a good level. Now, the good thing about what we're seeing is since we did invalidate that head and shoulders, we can still see the price fall all the way back down at worst to 48 cents and be perfectly fine. Because say, just, hypothetically, if we do come back down to this level and lose it, we no longer have that big technical target, again, all the way to 31 cents. We can start to look for support along these areas before continuing our uptrend, which is beautiful. That's a great thing about what we saw, that big invalidation of that head and shoulders. Now, we do have to pay attention to if we do lose this level, we are possibly looking at another head and shoulders here, but the breakdown target in that case is still right around our 48 cent mark. So it's an amazing, absolutely amazing move that we saw this little push up to the upside, is it did establish a lot of support under us, but also invalidated a lot of possible huge breakdown targets to the down. I don't know what that was. There we go. Breakdown targets to the downside. Okay. So right now, my expectations and what I'm looking for is that we could be looking at some type of rollover at any given point. That is just fair to say. But if we do look at our Bollinger Bands, I still want to see that our price is able to hold above 48.78. The reason being is that we've been so extended off of these Bollinger Bands, off that 20 simple moving average, that if we were even to come back down and lose this 20 simple moving average, that we could go all the way down to the bottom of our envelope. And at the moment, we're still above our key level of support that is established right here. So say, for example, if we are possibly looking at some type of rising triangle, which are typically reversal patterns, right? Say if we see something like this, right? Boom. Something of this nature. Say if we do break down to the downside, we can go all the way back down to about 48.49 cents and still be okay. And that's the beautiful thing about this invalidation that we saw. So right now, let's just wait to see. Let's see if we can get some volume. At the moment, volume is down. We're losing volume as well as our RSI is pushing down. And so that's why I'm starting to somewhat believe, unless the rest of the market goes immediately green, that we may see some type of rollover here. But if we do see that volume smash in, and as well as we see this continuation of our RSI to the upside, that could be a good sign that we're going to go back up and start looking at 75 cents, which is my next price target. Okay. So again, if we do get those 2 4-hour closes above about 62 cents, 62.8, that is going to be one of those buying opportunities for me, as well as if we break out of the top of here. Okay. So what I'm looking for, realistically, a big buy comes for me at 66.50. 66.50. I say, all right, you know what? Got 2 green candles above the 786. We broke this trend line here. Our volume would likely be increasing at that point. We'd be looking at green volume, as well as the RSI giving another hoorah back up to the upside. I would more than likely go in on that trade with the a price target around 70 to 75 cents. A nice little 12-15% gain there. So overall, things are looking pretty good for Coti right now. Even if the price does start to roll, we've invalidated a lot of a big fall, right? A big possible crash to the downside really fast. And I think that is going to be great for the potential of Coti, because it's not going to start to, cause a whole bunch of sadness because people see a big fall to the downside. Okay. So I'm very happy with what we saw. It was a great move to the upside. It was a great invalidation. And even if we do roll here, because we're losing volume and because the RSI is trending downwards, we still could be looking at a fantastic establishment of support somewhere around here into a continuation upwards. So overall, just keep an eye on Coti, keep an eye on these levels, watch how this thing does move. And of course, I will update you guys as soon as we do get something interesting to happen. So with that being said, of course, I will see you all very soon in the next video. Have a good one. Peace.